Formula E Season 12 calendar has now been released. We know all the races that are going to span the 17 races across the 11 rounds of 2025 and 2026. And I want to talk about the individual rounds, what I'm looking forward to, and to talk about the returning track and the brand new shiny one that's coming in round 5. So, to start off, we've got Sao Paulo, Brazil. Sao Paulo has had comments over the last couple of years that it should be Interlagos or a version of Interlagos as it's so close, but actually this street circuit has provided us with some great races. I think it complements the Gen 3 car. The tight section last year got Verline thrown into the fence and landing on his roof. And it's just a great spectacle, I think, for round 1, race 1. I think it's a good opener. Everyone's excited for Formula E to be back, so it doesn't have to be an absolute banger, but this track, I think, is. The one thing I would change is make this 2 races, not just 1. There's such a big gap between round 1 and round 2. It's around 6 weeks from the 6th of December to the 10th of January. I think it feels shorter because we have Christmas and New Year, but it's like, you know, we're trying to get everyone hyped for the new season, but yet we've only got 1 race to talk about. So if there was 2, I feel like that would fix this problem. Mexico City Race 2 Round 2, which is known for its stadium section, which was an old baseball stadium that they've now converted into a technical section of a racetrack. And I think in any motorsports this looks brilliant, but to be racing here in Formula E, the track really complements the sport, and it's had quite a few changes. It started off really small when we first came here, and now we're starting to get to the full configuration. Not there just yet, but it works well for Formula E, and the track we had last year was brilliant, so it'll be good to see that one back in round 2. It does create some technical racing, it does have some technical straights, which really challenges the Gen 3 car. Race 3 is Miami. This used to be race 5, but it's now been pulled forward. For me, there needs to be some better representation from American tracks because this one is good, but it's not great. It feels quite outdated in comparison to most of the circuits that we've got this year. It wasn't a great race last year. We obviously had the crash, and we also had everyone taking time penalties because of the whole attack mode, which in the regulations have changed this year. But overall racing, I'm not a big fan. I think there's way better tracks like Laguna Seca and Cota that could really show off what America has to offer in the Formula E world. It is only a single header, but I'm not expecting anything amazing, but at least we've got some tracks in America as there is a big following of Formula E. Race 4 and 5 is in Jeddah, the Corniche circuit, which is the Middle East picking for Formula E. It's probably the best one for Formula E. They have to adapt the track that was made for Formula 1. The straight's too long and we'd have no batteries, so they have added those S sections in, or chicanes, and I like it. It was the last minute dive bomb in round 3, or race 3 last season that we saw. I think it was Max Gunter who took the lead of the race in the last corner. So yeah, this track's a big tick in my book. It's a double header, it's a technical circuit, it allows for errors and it creates great racing. So I'm all for it. We saw the Barnard Jake Hughes dive bomb on turn 2, I think it's classed as at that point. So yeah, mega happy that this is returned as a double header. Round 6 is Madrid, the new shiny circuit coming to Formula E, and I say circuit because it is a race track, not a street circuit, which is quite confusing because Formula 1 are coming to Madrid later on in the year and they've got a custom-made street circuit. It's almost like the briefs got muddled up, but it looks pretty good from the satellite view. There's not a lot of information about this circuit. It looks kind of what Shanghai is going to be like, and it's going to be similar to Jakarta, that type of racetrack. So Jakarta's a good race, even though that's a street circuit. So I'm feeling hopeful for Madrid. It's round the corner, so it should be an affordable race for Europeans to go to, with it being their first race that they can go to in the Formula E series. So I'm looking forward to Madrid. It's a springtime race, so it's going to be pretty decent. Rounds 7 and 8 is Berlin, and this circuit is mega. This is always giving us good racing. Obviously, it's not in the centre, it's at the abandoned airport, but it's great. It's a permanent circuit, really, for us, and I absolutely love this one. The one thing I would change about Berlin is it's one of those ones that has many configurations, and I don't know why when we have a double header, we don't change the configuration so we get 2 unique races instead of 2 of the same track. Obviously, weather can play into it, and we had a very wet Berlin last year, but I just think, why don't we just add another S section into it, or add a hairpin into somewhere that they can just do? They can do all the safety testing. I just don't see why this isn't brought into Formula E when we do so many configurable tracks. Very similar to what Paul Ricard is designed to do, have so many different configurations. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's a good race. It's where Roland won the title last year on points. So it's a good race. I always love Berlin, and I think it's very unique because they can change it at the tip of a hat. Round 9, Monaco. I think this is, well, it's the jewel in the crown, as they say. Monaco is so historic in terms of motorsport. The fact that we get so many overtakes in such a tight circuit and it being so iconic is amazing. From the placement of the attack mode to just the overall racing, there's so much overtaking done here that it's just one of those tracks I think is brilliant. And Monaco being a country but also a racetrack for a weekend is absolutely mega. So yeah, rounds 9 and 10, we get to see 2 like adrenaline pumping sprint races here. It's amazing. So yeah, Monaco, I'm great to see. Sanya, China. Now this is a returning track. Obviously we had this in 2018-2019, which I think was season 5. This is Oliver Rowland's rookie season as well, so I bet he's excited to return here. And the best way to describe Sanya is it's China's Ibiza. It's a resort island that it looks very much set up for tourism. I mean, one of the shots you can literally see water slides in the background, and we're going through like a whole complex, which is like a resort part. So it's an awesome track. I think it's a great location, and if the flights were cheaper, personally, I'd go to this. From what we had, the one race, we were supposed to have 2, but COVID cancelled the second one. And we don't know what happened after that because obviously then it got cancelled and things don't happen. But from the race, it was decent. I think the track's pretty cool. It goes past all the resort section and then goes up this big road out of like the resort and then does a hairpin and back into the resort. So it's a good track. From what I watched earlier, obviously we've only got the one race. I'm most excited to see what they've developed, because like you can tell that this place was being developed quite quickly, like most of China at the moment. So we might not have aerial shots like we had last time because there's probably big buildings, hotels been built there. I'm just excited to see what's gone on, because I tried to be nosy and on Google doesn't show you anything. You can sort of see the racetrack, but even the Google Maps is out of date to the point where the lines don't line up and you can't drop the man down. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this just to see how much change has happened in the 7 seasons since we've raced there before. The Shanghai circuit we raced at last year. It does mean that there are 3 Chinese races this year. So I think that's the one that wins the most races for season 12. Obviously, last year we had a nail biter and we also had a really wet race. So we got 2 unique races at the Shanghai circuit. Obviously, the nail biter was the DS12, but we didn't know it was a 1-2 because second place could have been up to, I think, 6 different drivers going into the last corner, and the TV direction did not help. And then the wet race, lots of drivers were being sent around because it was really, really wet, probably pushing those the tyres to the limit of their grip. So we had very interesting races. I do like Shanghai. I do worry about Formula E on real circuits, but as it's shown, it's not a challenge and it does give us some very close racing. This was probably the best race last season. It was so close in that second one because we had the wet race where Van Dorn won by a mile because he pitted and then the red flag came out and the pit boost was there. But the race after that where it was dry, and I think we had again 6 people instead of second place were going for the lead. Obviously Oliver Rowland won it in the end, but we could have had Barnard winning, which was it was amazing. I think the last 5 laps were, you didn't know who was going to come out on top. So yeah, that track was definitely a really good one, so I'm glad it's returning. And obviously again, with it being technology and Japan, I think it's really cool. It's good for like Nissan and all that to get those collaborations in. So yeah, big fan of Tokyo. And the final rounds, 16 and 17, are actually really sad because this is the Excel Arena in London. This is the most unique race circuit I think that's ever existed. It's an indoor-outdoor track, and it goes around a whole like exhibition space, I think is the best way to describe it. It's tight, it's technical, and it's really cool for Formula E. It's really like modern inside, like very futuristic, which is what the sport is all about. And the fact that it can go around an exhibition centre is just awesome. But I think because the exhibition centre's having some work done, the track can't race there anymore, and I'm not sure if it's ever going to be renewed. So this is the last time we're going to get to see this track, but it's I would say one of my favourites to watch because it is technical. It's had so many different layouts, and I think it was officially the first race I watched back in season 7, I think it was. The one where they had that weird S section on the outside part. So yeah, I love this track. I can't wait to go there this year. I couldn't do it last year, and I would have gone in a heartbeat if I could, but I wasn't available. So the fact they've moved the date is brilliant. So I will be going to this race, and hopefully if the channel picks up, we'll go there as a media coverage. If we're still talking to you as the community and we haven't grown as much as we want to, we'll probably go as fans. But we'll see what happens. This is what I'm excited for with this season. It's going to be long. I think it spans 8 months. Obviously, there's quite a few big gaps between the tracks, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. And if I was to replace this English track, because I think there'll always be an English track on the calendar, I would like to see another city, to be honest. I would like to see how they can use it and bring tourism to other cities. Because London's great, but London is already massive. And, Birmingham, Manchester, there'd be some really cool race circuits there that they could implement. Around the Bull Ring would be pretty cool. Around the big buildings in Birmingham would be pretty cool. That would be so close to me as well. It also is very close to Jaguar as well, so that would be pretty cool for them. Even Coventry, where I think they're based, I think the team's based. I'm not sure if they do all their stuff out there because I think there's some stuff around Silverstone. But we definitely don't want a Silverstone race because that would not work, I don't think, for Formula E. So, or my opinion anyway. Let us know down below what tracks you want to see in, I guess, season 13. Obviously, I want Jakarta back. It was such a good race for Dan Ticktum last year. The reason why it was so dusty is because they didn't race in it last year. So this is where I'm like, don't do a 2-year break again because it's going to be a dusty circuit. And Jakarta, if you don't know, is a sinking city. It's got loads of like cool things to learn about. So that's what I like about Formula E, going to these unique cities that have stories to tell, because it does put them on the map. And Jakarta, from what I know, is a sinking city because of the wells. So if you didn't know that, there are some cool videos online that you can watch about it. I personally won't be covering it, but that's where I learnt it. So, but yeah, the calendar this year, I wish it was 13 rounds, not 11. I would rather have more rounds than double headers, just because I think it just spans it across. There's a massive gap between Jeddah and Madrid and Berlin, and then Monaco and Sanya. There's a graphic here that someone posted on Reddit this morning which shows the calendar, but I think this really shows the gaps off. But if you had 2 more rounds here and here, then essentially it wouldn't feel as distant between them. But apart from that, I think the calendar's pretty spread. Like I said at the beginning, I would have Sao Paulo in January, not December. Makes no sense. And then just start the seasons off with just 1 year. But that's my personal preference. But yes, if I could change something, I would have better representation from America. I think the tracks could be better. And potentially maybe a city circuit in England that's not London would be my changes. And bring back Jakarta, because I think that circuit's great. I think it's really unique and it brings a story to Formula E. So thanks for watching. I am looking forward to season 12. I think it's going to be fantastic, and as I've mentioned in my unscripted video, I think it's going to be a constructors fight all the way to the end.